Oh, come on. Farm down. Come on. Come on. They don't have 2, right? They don't have 2. They had 2. What's up, everyone? Today I'm showcasing a team with not 1, not 2, but 3 updated Pokemon. Dragonite with Superpower, Galarian Weezing with Fairy Wind, and Steelix with Psychic Fangs. Now, I just kind of botched these 3 Pokemon together to try them out, but this team ended up working quite well. I went 7-3 with this squad, even beating multiple Registeel and Galarian Stunfisk, which you would think would be somewhat of an issue for this squad, but you can play around with Superpower Dragonite and Overheat on Weezing. In this first game we face a Registeel, which is really not good, since even though Dragonite has Superpower, Registeel is still Registeel, and it's super tanky. Superpower doesn't do too much. I didn't want to throw my Superpower immediately, since then my defense is dropped, I have to shield that move, but now they drop my attack, so I still don't really want to throw my Superpower, as it would do nothing with that attack drop, really. So I bring in my Weezing, didn't get to the Overheat before the Zap Cannon, sadly. Luckily this one didn't knock me out though. Gonna go for the Overheat straight away. They haven't swapped out yet, which means I probably don't have a great answer. Meaning I probably should have baited there. Seeing as a shield was kind of likely and I do shield, now my attack is double dropped, which means this Overheat really won't do too much. At least it brings it into a range where Superpower from Dragonite will knock him out now though. I know Overheat won't do anything now, so I'm just gonna let my Weezing go down. Bring in my Dragonite again. Hopefully I can take out the Steelix with or the Registeel with Dragonite, and then my Steelix can take out whatever's in the back. Alright, we have some recording lag here, some speed up, but doesn't really affect the game any. I threw the Superpower here right before they were able to get to a move, and I bring in my Steelix versus Dragonite, and this is really, really good. They're even staying in and throwing a move. Now Superpower would do decent chunks. I'm shooting up. Unfortunately, I got a bait though, and they have Giratina in the back. This is really where Steelix shines. Like, Stunfisk and Registeel, I would say, are generally the better Steel types. Like, if you don't have a Steelix and you want to run this team, run Stunfisk or Registeel in the back. Both are probably better in general, but against these Dragon types, especially Giratina, Steelix does so much better, as you can just Dragon Tail all the way down. And that is what we're going to be doing right here. I'm not even going to throw another move. We are just tailing all the way down. They can throw another Shadow Sneak if they want. Even throw a Dragon Claw. It does nothing. We have 100 energy now, which I'm going to unleash on this Dragonite. 1 Psychic Fangs coming through. This won't get a shield probably, but we'll put him low already. Next Psychic Fangs coming through. They might not even shield this one, knowing I'm close to a third, but they do shield it. Get to another Psychic Fangs. Actually, I don't even throw it. I wanted to finish it with Dragonite. I didn't mean to be mean here and throw a Superpower. I really thought my Dragon Claw was on the left, but we end up throwing a Superpower onto the Dragonite to win the game. GG's. Next up is a battle versus my friend Inadequance, who's leading something incredibly spicy in the Dialga, which is also super bad for my Dragonite. So I gotta get out of there. Into my Weezing. In comes Nidoqueen, which is another hard counter. So I was quite suspicious of this at the time, since I was live streaming on Twitch at the time. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitch, I'll put the link down in the description. Come hang out in the stream sometimes. Always good vibes. But yeah, he was in the chat earlier, so I really thought he was stream sniping me, because it's a joke we like to pull on each other sometimes. But turns out this was actually just a regular team he was running. Well, not a regular team, it's a bit of a spicy team, but this was the actual team he was running, and I might have ruined his 5-0. At least that's what he told me. Inadequance also has a YouTube channel where he posts like really high level GBL videos and Sylph videos, so if you're into that, if you like my stuff, honestly, you're gonna like Inadequance's videos as well. So go check him out. Link in the description to his channel. Definitely go check him out. We're gonna Superpower his Dialga first though. There's a ton of damage. Bring in Steelix. And this is when I realized he might have not been stream sniping me after all. Since it's a Drapion and Steelix is quite good here. He is running Aquadil though, which is definitely better than just Crunch. But still, Steelix is an absolute tank. That did nothing. I'm not even building up to the Earthquake. Just gonna go straight Psychic Fangs. Drop his defense as soon as possible. And now we're gonna try to Dragon Tail down. Still gonna be very close though. So Dialga is still alive to potentially clear the Drapion's debuff. like the switch timer isn't up yet, and I've already done so much damage at this point. All I have to do is like build up to a crunch, make sure he doesn't catch, and then throw it into the drape. Just gonna keep farming up here. Now after this, I'm kind of expecting a catch, so I'm waiting a second here to make sure I see a Potion Sting animation come through, but it doesn't. The out comes in. I throw my Dragonite. Now I have a crunch loaded. This will hit the Drapion. It actually does nothing. But I can finish off the Drapion with the Dragonite. GG's. Cresselia lead is quite bad, but if I can catch like a Moonblast here on Weezing, I might be in a good spot, so that's what I'm gonna try to do. They throw a little earlier than I was expecting, so I'm just gonna have to shield it up. And at this point, I kind of want to get a couple Dragon Claws in, but they get like the 10% chance of getting the attack drop. So now I can't even throw my moves. I switch into Weeze, hoping to catch. I didn't catch. Most Cresselias these days were in future sight, so this is gonna hurt me as well. This is so far just not going well, and it's just gonna turn worse because they have the hardest counter possible to Weezing in the back in Talonflame. Like, there's nothing I can hit here that's neutral even. It's all resisted. And then I bring in Dragonite expecting them to go straight Brave Bird, but they Flame Charge. It's all going south. It's all going south. But you know what? We have Steelix, hardest wall to Cresselia, so maybe this is still possible. We also have lag, which might not be good, but luckily we still got the farm down before they're able to reach a move. Here comes the Cresselia again. Weak connection. You gotta love it. Gonna go for some Dragon Claws here. Put on some damage. By the way, oh my god. I thought they were still one away, so I didn't throw. Doesn't really matter though. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna bring in Steelix here, and they have a Trevenant in the back. I'm gonna shoot up. I would lose super hard, so the game was over from the start, basically. GG's. Sirfetch'd lead is quite fine for Dragonite. Only real move I have to watch out for is Brave Bird, but I throw the move immediately at 5. It means I don't have a shielder. It's just a Night Slash. Won't do that much. I should be able to reach a Dragon Claw before the next, but I actually decided to switch into Charizard with a Wing Attack, which is super interesting. Takes 5 Wing Attacks for a Dragon Claw, so I gotta shield it up here, and now I can go for some Dragon Claws of my own. I'm gonna throw one here. They just threw 1 Wing Attack, so I need 4 more for the next Dragon Claw. I'm gonna throw after 3, I think. Yeah, right before the 3rd. Be a bit safe. Don't think this knocks out anyway, so if they let this go, I still get some farm. But yeah, they shielded up. I'm gonna let this go now. I have Psychic Fangs on Steelix, so I'm actually not too worried about the Sirfetch'd or it's some chip on it. And if I can now farm down this Charizard, which I barely can. This is not a Blast Burn. I only threw like 5 more Wing Attacks. I need like 7 for Blast Burn, so actually 8? 8 for the first Blast Burn, I'm pretty sure. Since, yeah, I think 8. Or maybe 7, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It was just a Dragon Claw. In comes Nidoqueen. And this is looking quite fine now. Actually quite interesting that I came in Nidoqueen, but I guess they didn't want to eat the energy on Sirfetch'd. Which, you know, probably dies to a Psychic Fang. But they also shielded their Nidoqueen here. Even though I threw Psychic Fangs. Probably expecting Earthquake, but yeah, I'm not running Earthquake. Honestly, I think Earthquake might be the better moveset instead of Crunch. But I like Crunch for like Trevenants maybe. But Earthquake is definitely better for like Registeel, Galarian and Stunfisk, which will be some trouble for this squad. So if I would run this team again, I would probably go Earthquake instead of Crunch. But yeah, at this point, this is all over. I can go for the Overheat versus the Nidoqueen. And if this doesn't knock out, which it doesn't sadly, I can go for the Psychic Fangs with my Steelix. But they even allow me to get the player off here, so this knocks out the Nidoqueen. GG's. Dragonite into Talonflame. Pretty good lead here. Pretty sure Bravebird would knock me out though, and a Dragon Claw doesn't knock them out, so in the zeros probably Talonflame's favor, but luckily I switched out to the Cress, and I have an extremely hard wall here in Steelix, and I'm not going to bother you with this full matchup, so we're just going to speed up a little bit here. I'm going to end up throwing 1 Crunch, and they're going to throw a bunch of Moonblasts. At some point, I decided to just throw a Psychic Fangs though, since I do want to drop their defense. This makes it for an easier farm down, and after this, I'm still going to be at 100 energy, so it doesn't really matter. They just keep throwing Moonblast, which is interesting, because Moonblast is resisted. Future Sight is also resisted, but Future Sight is just a better move, so Future Sight would do more. And if they were in Grass Knot, then that would just be a better move, but they're fishing for the attack drop here, which you're actually going to get here. And then near the end, they actually throw a Future Sight here to get me quite low. I feel like if they would have just kept on Future Sighting though, they might have actually knocked me out. I would have needed to throw a move at least. I go for Psychic Fangs against a Talon. I'm really hoping to get to another move here, but if I don't, that's fine, because then Talonflame has barely any energy to throw at my Dragonite. Like, I literally only got 1 Incinerate, which is best case scenario. He comes Registeel now. And this is kind of tough because, I mean, I do have coverage moves on both Dragonite and Weezing here with Overheat and Superpower, but both of those moves are the buffing moves. Besides that, they don't knock out Registeel in one go. So I actually end up baiting there with the Play Rough, which they took, which is awesome. They go for the Zap Cannon, which I no shielded, but unfortunately they did get a drop, which is quite bad. Means his Overheat won't do as much, which I do shield up. Now I'm triple dropped. Not ideal, definitely not ideal. Gonna shield up this move now. And I want to get out of here at some point, but I also kind of don't want my Weezing versus Talonflame later, but what they actually end up doing is try to catch an Overheat on their Talonflame. Always worked out for them, but luckily I didn't throw. Switching my Dragonite now, called the bait. Now I can safely shield this up, farm up to another, to like a couple moves. I have a Superpower ready when the Registeel comes in, which I do right now, so I just throw it. Knock out the Talonflame, then I can Superpower the Registeel, and I should be able to Overheat afterwards as well. Yeah, Superpower the Registeel. This brings him into the range where Overheat will knock out. I also win CMP, so even if they somehow farm down my Dragonite, I should be fine. And I believe they concede at this point, right? Yeah, they do. GG's. Oh no! This is the most terrible lead. Because even Steelix is not too good here. Maybe that's why I should have considered switching in Steelix, but usually with a lot of Ninetales in the lead, it's like Swampert in the back, which Weezing just does better against. Still not a good matchup, but at least you have some play there. I can maybe take some shields, and once shields are down, Steelix is better versus a lot of Ninetales. But yeah, here comes a Nidoqueen, which is not great. I might still be able to get shields here though. This Overheat should get one. Maybe I should have baited. Honestly, I feel like switch is probably very important for them, so I probably should have took the risk and player baited. Especially since I end up going Poison Fang there, which means that if I player baited, I would have still reached his Overheat, which would have knocked out me, but because I'm quad debuffed, it doesn't, so that's real sad. At this point, I'll bring in my D-Knight. I'll just take any move here. I'm really hoping I can sweep with my Steelix at this point. Steelix isn't the best versus a load of Ninetales, but it's decent enough where it might be able to take it out. And there's also a Giratina in the back, which Steelix just hard walls. So my goal here, throw a Crunch into the Giratina and then farm all the way down. Again, I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. They just throw a bunch of moves into me. I'm farming them down all the way after that one Crunch. They got one more move here. I'm pretty sure this is just a Dragon Claw. Puts me almost into the red. No, not even. It's like 30%, which is so nice. Like, Steelix is such a wall to that thing. Like, being in the yellow still and having like 100 energy is crazy, right? That's absolutely wild. Go for the Psychic Fangs as soon as possible to debuff the A9 as soon as possible. Another one coming out here. Maybe I should switch at this point. I'm really hoping I can take a shield here and then get to the Superpower with D-Knight. That's the goal. But they're actually not going to end up shielding this, which means I got to try to Dragon Breath down, but they already have so much energy. If they don't have 2 Weather Balls here, 4 Dragon Breaths might be able to knock out. But unfortunately, they have another Weather Ball and they knock me out right there. Super, super close game, but unfortunately, wasn't meant to be. GG's. Dragonite into Nidoqueen. This matchup is definitely in favor of Nidoqueen, as you do get outpaced and 2 Poison Fangs will knock you out. And these Poison Chaps are really adding up. Dragon Breath definitely adding up too though, but I think this might be where Shadow is a little bit better. The Dragon Claw might, I don't know. I'm liking the regulars because of the extra bulk. Actually kind of nice. Actually shield it up, which is nice. I'll take this shield up. No, actually, I'm going to shield this up. Yeah, I want to get this thing lower. Even if I bring in Steelix now to farm down, I'm going to have to use a shield anyway. So I'll just throw the Dragon Claw here, get this thing low enough to where I can hopefully farm down with Steelix before they get to the Earth Power. We're currently at 5 Poison Jabs after their 2 Poison Fangs. So I need 3 more, and unfortunately, those 2 Dragontails don't knock out, so they have an Earth Power here exactly. Steelix is insane, though. Look at how little damage that does. That's really nice. In comes our Blastoise now. Definitely not ideal. I'll go for the Psychic Fangs. I'm expecting Sirfetch'd in the back. That's quite common with Nidoqueen. So I want to debuff this, bring in my Weezing. They can't switch out if it's Sirfetch'd, and now the player off should be able to knock out after the debuff. At least, that's what I'm hoping. I'm going to take the Hydro here. Weezing is kind of tanky too, and, well, unfortunately, it's a Greedent in the back. So at this point, it's kind of over, as my Weezing will go down to the green end and the Steelix will get taken out by the Blastoise, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can see it's going to end up getting body slammed here. Bringing the Steelix. I know the Blastoise is just going to take me out, so I concede the match. GG's. Ooh, Virizion lead. This is a pretty nice lead for me, and they bring in a Drapion, which is quite good too. I'm just going to go straight for Psychic Fangs here. This might be a mistake. Maybe I should have built up to Earthquake to bait it, but on the other hand, I want to get this Dragon Tail damage ramped up ASAP, which is what I'm doing here. Otherwise, this could be a bit of trouble, especially if they get the drop, but luckily they didn't get the drop. Pretty good. Just gonna let everything go here. As you can see, Steelix is just an absolute tank. These Dragon Tails are adding up quite a bit. Another point. I should have thrown my Psychic Fangs right there. I don't know why I didn't. I think I wanted to go for Crunch. But I should have just thrown Psychic Fangs immediately. But I can throw the Crunch now to take out the Drapion still. So doesn't really matter. I would have taken their Crunch either way. So in the end, doesn't really matter. I have 2 answers to the Virizion, so I'm actually going to save Steelix with a Psychic Fangs here to maybe debuff something later, bring in my Weezing, and then bring in a Galarian Stunfisk. Interesting. I go for the play rough bait here, expecting a shield. And they do shield it up. Very nice for me. Yeah, later on in the battles, in that first set, I didn't really play rough bait that much, a couple times. But now that I'm getting more comfortable with this thing, I'm play rough baiting more, and you know, when it works out, it's just so nice. Gonna go for the overheat right now. They let it go. It does so much damage. I actually also shielded a Rock Slide bait, you noticed, which wasn't too great, but still fine. I actually end up getting to another overheat here. Just takes a shield. I'm gonna let this go. Now, Weezing has done its job, but it's not even an Earthquake. It's a Rock Slide, which is fine. I will switch out, though, into Dragonite. I'm gonna shoot up this Rock Slide, which might be a mistake. So I am expecting the Virizion to have Stone Edge, which, well, wouldn't be great. Does more than Rock Slide from Stunfisk. But, you know, for the off chance it didn't have it, I wanted to shield that. As you can see, I still survived, so maybe it didn't really matter. Gonna go for Superpower, which might be a mistake, since now they will be able to double kick me down before another move, I thought. But actually, I get there, which is so nice. This will take out the Virizion. The Stunfisk will be able to farm down, but I'll get some chip damage along the way. Now, I do have a Psychic Fang stored on my Steelix, but I didn't think it'd knock out, so I bring in my Weezing first. 1, to take some energy. Oh, wait, there's something's gonna happen, but first I gotta explain. 1, to take some energy of this Stunfisk. 2, to do some Fairy Wind chip damage. But they end up farming up a bunch, throwing the Rock Slide, and they end up surviving. And then I'm gonna tap my switch. Wait, look at this. I tapped my switch. Do you see that? I tapped my switch. But Steelix didn't come out. So now I'm worried to have a move and they can win CMP here. But luckily, they didn't, and I get the Psychic Fangs off to knock them out. But that was stupid. That was real stupid. My Steelix should have came out there, and I would have been able to surprise him with the Psychic Fangs right there. But you know what? Luckily, it didn't matter. We still win. GG's. Dragonite Mirror. Now, my Dragonite is the rank 1, so I'm going to lose CMP. So I'm going to try to catch a Dragon Claw Weezing here, and we end up simultaneous switching. He's going into Escavalier. I'm going into Weezing. This is kind of neutral. I mean, I would assume it's neutral. I actually don't know. I didn't know when I was playing this match. Of course, the counters are double resisted, but the drone does hurt. And my Fairy Wind is resisted, but Overheat will one-shot them, so they shield it up. That and those counters actually do nothing. So this might actually be kind of good for me. I think we pace the move at similar speeds. I might get to the 3rd Overheat before them. That's what I'm thinking. Gonna go for another Overheat right here. This will knock them out, even though I'm double debuffed. They do shield it up. And they underestimate Weezing's speed. And I get to another Overheat. Bye-bye, Escavalier. Roasted. In comes the Dragonite. I'm trying to farm up here. I'm saving up a play rough for later, to hit the Dragonite later once the Trevenant comes in. But at this point, I probably won't even need it. Steelix is going to easily be able to take out the Trevenant with the Crunch here. Well, it won't take out yet, but after some Dragon Tails, I'll probably be able to take it out. And I still have a Dragon Claw loaded on Dragonite as well. So this should be looking pretty good. I'm going to no-shield this. At this point, I'm just going to let Steelix go. I'm not going to throw my move even, which is very unnecessary. I should have just thrown it, honestly. But, you know, I knew Dragonite could just be able to finish this off a little faster by farming down and then throwing the Dragon Claw into the opposing Dragonite. GG's. Berserker lead is super interesting. I can probably one-shot this with a Superpower. But they also have neutral moves, whereas I'm throwing resisted fast moves. So that's not great. A foul play would hurt too, but I'm going to let it go. So don't expect it to do too much. And as you can see, it doesn't do too much, which is nice. They actually catch a move on Politoed, which is super bad. Yeah, that's actually super bad. Since Dragonite is actually my best Politoed answer. But I can't stay in now since I'm debuffed. I bring in Weezing, which isn't great, especially if they have Earthquake. This will nearly one-shot me. Weezing is very tanky though, so probably can take one, but I do want to shoot one at least. You're right there. Gonna go for the play rough. They're gonna survive this, I think. But then I'm hoping I can farm down before the Earthquake. Come on, Weezing. Farm it down, farm it down. They get to another one, but I'm gonna let this go. Weezing is tanky. Can I take this? I can barely take it. Fairy Wind down. I have an Overheat loaded or play rough for whatever comes in, and it is... What comes in? I think it's the Berserker. It's coming back in, so I'm mashing the Overheat here. This is the Berserker. Hit the Overheat. Do they shoot it up? They let it go. Since I brought in Weezing versus the Politoed, they're probably expecting their Swampert to be extremely strong. And they're right, since I have a Steelix in the back, so this is not too good. I didn't throw my move immediately because I wanted to do optimal timing. I didn't want them to get a free Mudshot, when hindsight was stupid since there are 2 Hydros. But they don't throw it, so I actually got off my Psychic Fangs in here, and I still give him a free Mudshot, so not great. They actually let it go, which is quite interesting. I think a big misplay by my opponent, to be honest, is my Dragonite wasn't going to get the 2 moves there, but I guess they were afraid of that. Now, though, I'll just let my Steelix go down and hope I can farm down this Swampert before 2 moves. I'm pretty sure there are 2 here, but one Dragon Breath should be able to knock out, which I should be able to do before the next Hydro, but we end up lagging a bit. But luckily, it doesn't matter. I get the Dragon Breath off, we knock out the Swampert, and that is a GG. I'm pretty sure this was the final game of the set. Yeah, we end up going 3-2. I finish at 2650 rating, so 60-point gain with 2 sets on this team, so not too bad. Happy with that. Still, I don't think it's like an amazing team or anything, but definitely a fun one that can work. So if you happen to have this Pokemon, definitely try it out. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Good luck with your battle trainers.